Hey guys, how's everybody doing today? I hope everybody's been staying safe out there. Thought I'd do something a little different today and do some video. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm pretty passionate about a lot of things in life, but one of my hobbies is wine collecting. And so I thought, why not during quarantine 2020 here? Let's kind of do like wine weekend time. So the beauty about the wine industry is wine is still being shipped. I actually got 2 shipments in today from a couple of my favorite wineries here. Dumas, incredible Pinot Noir from Sonoma. Great stuff, good price point. I'll review this in the future. And then one of my other big favorites out there, a lot of you probably have heard of this one, Turley. Turley is probably the best Zinfandel grower in the United States. And they also do some cool blends. I've really liked also their Petite Syrah, really good stuff. Dumas and Turley, you definitely need to be on the mailing list. Hard to find those wines at your local grocery store. Or liquor store. They sell out incredibly fast. So highly recommend getting on both of those wine list, mailing list, if you will. Today, we're going to review in honor of the great Patrick Mahomes, quarterback from Texas Tech, and the Kansas City Chiefs, as well as the Hunt family, who's from here in Dallas. We're going to try Arrowhead Red Gold Reserve. So this winery is owned by Lamar Hunt's wife, and the winemaker is also Philip Melka. Melka is one of the most renowned winemakers in the entire United States, if not the world. He truly makes some world-class stuff out there. This bottle itself, not real expensive. Depends upon obviously what your price point is, but $40 to $50. It's a 2016. It's 100% Cabernet Sauvignon. And it's from the Knights Valley region of Sonoma, so just north of Napa Valley. Sonoma makes some incredible wine. Napa gets all the publicity, but Sonoma really does some great stuff out there. And based upon the reviews on this one, I expect the same thing. This one's going to be really tough to find. I bought this through my favorite wine store / sommelier here in Dallas, a company called Buonvino, Buonvino. Look them up on the internet. Get on their mailing distribution list. Doesn't matter where you are in the country. They have some incredible deals out there. After reading, I think there was only about 125 cases made of the 16. So this one's going to be tough to get your hands on. But I thought in honor of sports, which there's none these days, why not open a bottle of sports-themed Cabernet Sauvignon? And nothing like the Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs to get that started. So let's see what we got here. So the first thing I notice here is, incredibly dark color on this. The interesting thing about Napa and California-based wines in general, typically, even though you can age a lot of them are really good out of the bottle, just even as young as this is, a 16, which some of you guys might think, well, that's not very young, it's 4 years. But in the wine world, pretty young. there's a bunch of different, thoughts on when is the ideal time for wine on opening it and how long you should age it. In general, most of the French reds, you want to age them a little bit longer before they really come into their drinking window, if you will. But this one looks interesting. So at first glance, I get, and I'm not going to try to get real scientific with this. I'm not a sommelier or a winemaker. I'm just a guy who enjoys a good glass of wine, and I've developed some passion for learning more about the winemaking world. But what I'm getting out of the gate here is some cherry. I'm also getting a little bit of like a cola flavor. Here in the South, we're definitely going to say Coca-Cola. We're don't bring any of that Pepsi stuff up here down in these parts. Here, particularly in Texas, maybe it's more on the lines of Dr. Pepper, if you will. Even though I'm not a huge fan. I mean, don't hold that against me. So, still a little cherry and really cherry and a lot of cola. That's what I'm getting. I'm not getting a lot of the secondary smells of herbs or spices or the earth or any of that out of this bottle. So, and by the way, I opened this up about an hour ago. I didn't pour it in a decanter or anything, but I just opened it up and let it kind of start breathing a little bit. As you guys know, wine evolves with the introduction of oxygen into it. And a lot of times if you open up your bottles, an hour or two before you actually serve them, they can taste incredibly different and also have a lot more smoothness to them, so on and so forth. Before I finish, yes, I have a Dillon Panthers 33 football shirt on. The ode to Tim Riggins, the great show Friday Night Lights. If you never watched it, highly recommend. Even if you're not a big football star, pretty good show. Obviously in Texas, we're pretty all in on our Texas high school football. Sad our college teams can never seem to get it put together, but high school wise, I put our high school programs up against anybody. All right, so here we go. Let's see what we got here. So initially out of the gate, on the taste, I got some plum in there, very smooth, a little bit of tannins. Tannins is that part that when you drink something, you feel like your mouth is going dry. The perfect example would be if you've ever eaten a grape with a seed in it, and you eat that seed, or you bite down on that seed, and you feel that kind of wood flavor in your mouth. So I'm getting some plum, a little of that same cola. Good finish, pretty smooth. But initial reaction, pretty enjoyable. I'm not a big fan of the overly fruit bombs that are associated with Napa. Meaning that when you drink it tastes almost like you're opening up a can of jelly or preserves. It's just overly too much fruit. to me, there's a balance between fruit and earth, and so even though some people love that, and that's fine, everybody's palate's different. Me personally, I like a little fruit, but I want to see more of the complexity of the actual wine, the structure, the different tastes, the different earthy, herbal, and fruit kind of all combined together. To me, that kind of makes the perfect glass. So let's go in here and try it a little bit more here. Not bad. You know, so typically on the scales, maybe I should recreate this kind of like the Barstool Sports guy does with pizza eating. One sip, everybody knows the rules type deal. So maybe I'll start that. One sip, everybody knows the rules. You know, wine is typically ranked between roughly about, 85 points to 100. You really want to stay above 90 when you're out there drinking things. 100 is, perfect vintage, perfect glass, even though I've drank plenty of 100 pointers who I didn't really feel were perfect. And that's the beauty of wine, is that everybody's palate is a little different. So I'm going to take one more sip, and then I'm going to give you my score here. My initial reaction is this bottle is a little young. That call it in 2 to 4 years, it's going to mellow even a little bit more. I think this bottle in particular is meant to be aged just a little longer, for it to really come into its own. I feel like it's a little too young. It's got a lot of tannins in them, if you like that. It's got good flavor. It's got some good structure to it. If I was going to put a number on this one, and boy, I don't think I'm going to do the decimal like Barstool Sports guy goes, but I would go with this bottle. I'm going to say about a 91. It's a good daily drinker bottle, but it's nothing out of this world. And again, there's a reason, that's why it's, and not to say all wine needs to be really, really, really expensive, but obviously a lot of the most expensive wines typically are perfect scores, and there's just a lot that goes into how they make their wine and pick their grapes and harvest it and all these things. This isn't a bad bottle. It's a good bottle. I'm going to enjoy this wine this evening, but it's a 91, maybe 92 points on this thing. In a couple more years, it's very possible that this could creep, into that 93, 94 range. But right now, we're 91. So we're gonna give this guy a 91. I really enjoyed spending some time with you today. A few things. Again, Boonvino is where I got it. Buonvino. They're here in Plano, Texas. Guy named Gerald owns it. Great guy. They ship all around the country. This is where I got this bottle. This is where I get a lot of the bottles. They just so happen to be next door to our office space, even though I haven't seen that in a couple weeks. But actually, I knew Gerald even before we moved into our current office building. So go out, pour yourself a glass this weekend. I hope everybody continues to stay safe out there. Wash your hands, hand sanitizer. We can get through this thing together, and we'll come out stronger. I know it. We're just that type of nation, and we've overcome a lot worse things over our lifetime, and certainly our forefathers. So, hope everybody have a great weekend and stay well. Take care. Bye-bye.